Good evening and welcome. Tonight we begin gently, moving northward into a land shaped not by haste, but by time itself. A place where the air feels cooler, clearer, and every sound seems softened, as if carried carefully across the landscape. This is the world of the Vikings. If you picture it now, there is no urgency, only a wide and open expanse where forests stretch quietly beneath pale skies, and the sea rests along the horizon, calm and endless. Tall pine trees rise from the earth, their dark green needles still against the cool air. They do not sway much, only the slightest movement, barely noticeable. And beyond them, the land opens slowly, revealing the coastline. Here, the sea reaches inward, forming long, narrow waterways. These are fjords. They cut deep into the land, their waters calm, almost perfectly still. Yeah, if you look closely, you might see the sky reflected on the surface, a pale mirror, touched only by the faintest ripple. And beside one of these quiet fjords rests a small village, a Viking village. It is not large. There are no towering walls, no crowded streets, no noise of busy markets or hurried footsteps. Instead, there are only a handful of wooden buildings, spaced gently across the land, each one simple, each one built with care. Thin streams of smoke rise slowly from their rooftops, drifting upward into the cool evening air, disappearing without a sound. Life here does not rush forward. It unfolds slowly, following a rhythm that feels steady and natural. This land is part of a region known as Scandinavia, a northern world where the seasons shape everything. Winters here are long, and the days grow short, the sun rising slowly, hovering low in the sky, before slipping away again. Light becomes something soft and fleeting. Snow settles gently across the ground, covering fields, forests, rooftops. It quiets the world. Every step becomes softer, every sound more distant. And yet, when summer arrives, everything changes. The light returns, stretching far into the evening. The sun lingers, refusing to leave too quickly. The land warms. Grass pushes through the soil. Streams begin to flow again. Life awakens, slowly but surely. And the people who live here that have learned to move with these changes, not against them. They do not try to rush the seasons. They follow them. In the warmer months, the village becomes gently active. Fields are prepared. And soil is turned carefully, using simple tools, shaped by hand. Seeds are planted one by one. There is no sense of urgency, only patience, only trust. That growth will come in its own time. Animals move quietly nearby. Cows graze in open fields. Sheep wander slowly, their thick wool soft against the breeze. Goats climb along rocky edges, sure-footed and calm. Each animal has its place. Each one provides something essential. Milk for drinking, for making cheese. Wool for warmth. And sometimes meat. Nothing is taken lightly. Everything is used with care. At the heart of the village stands one of the most important structures, the longhouse. From the outside, it appears simple, low to the ground, with a gently curved roof, covered in layers of turf and wood. It is built to endure, to stand firm against wind, cold, and time. The materials come from the land itself, wood from nearby forests, stone gathered from the earth, everything shaped by hand, fitted together slowly, with intention. But inside, the longhouse feels very different. Step through the doorway, and your eyes begin to adjust. The light is soft, flickering. At the center of the room, a fire burns steadily. Its glow fills the space with warmth, pushing back the chill from outside. The air carries the faint scent of wood smoke, It rises gently, escaping through a small opening in the roof. Along the walls, wooden benches stretch from one end of the hall to the other. These are not only places to sit, they are places to rest, to gather, and at night to sleep. Furs are laid across the surfaces, thick and soft. The woven cloth adds another layer of comfort. Everything feels close. Everything feels shared. Families live together here, not separated into many rooms, but gathered within one open space. Parents, children, sometimes grandparents or other relatives, all beneath the same roof, all part of the same rhythm. During the day, the longhouse is filled with quiet activity. Near the fire, someone prepares food. Grain is ground slowly, mixed with water, formed into simple bread. A pot rests over the flames, warm porridge cooking gently. The scent is mild, comforting, not rich or overwhelming, just enough. Nearby, someone works with their hands, repairing a tool, sharpening a blade, mending a piece of clothing. Each movement is careful, unhurried. There is no rush to finish, only the quiet satisfaction of doing something well. And children move softly through the space. They are not loud. They watch, they listen, they learn, not through instruction, but through presence, by observing, by repeating, by becoming part of the flow. Outside, the village continues its gentle rhythm. A farmer walks across a field, his steps steady, unhurried. A child carries water from a nearby stream, the surface reflecting the sky above. The air is fresh, cool, but not harsh. Sounds travel clearly here. The distant call of an animal, the soft movement of wind through trees, the quiet footsteps of someone passing by. There are no sudden noises, no interruptions. Everything feels spaced, as if the world itself is breathing slowly. Food in the village is simple, but it is enough. Bread made from barley or rye, warm porridge, filling and soft. Hot fish, often caught nearby from rivers or from the sea. Vegetables, when the season allows. Sometimes small portions of meat. Meals are not hurried. People sit together, they eat slowly. Sometimes they speak, sharing small thoughts or simple stories. Other times, they remain quiet, comfortable in silence. As the day continues, work carries on in small, steady ways. Some people tend to the fields, others care for animals, and some focus on craft. A blacksmith stands near a small forge. The glow of heated metal flickers softly, casting warm light against the darker surroundings. He shapes iron carefully, each strike measured, not forceful, but precise. Tools take form slowly. Nothing is rushed. Nearby, a carpenter works with wood, cutting, shaping, fitting pieces together. The sound of his tools is soft, rhythmic, each motion deliberate. Inside the longhouse, another kind of work continues, weaving. Wool is spun into thread, then drawn across a loom. The motion repeats gently, back and forth, a steady rhythm, almost like breathing. The fabric grows slowly, thread by thread. Clothing here is made for function, for warmth, for endurance. Simple tunics, heavy cloaks, leather shoes. Colors are soft, drawn from natural dyes. Earth tones, muted reds, faded greens. Nothing bright or excessive, and yet there is a quiet beauty in the patterns, in the textures, in the care taken to create each piece. Nothing is wasted. Everything has purpose. As the afternoon begins to fade, the light shifts, it softens. The air cools slightly, shadows grow longer, stretching across the ground, and people begin to return home one by one. The pace slows even further. Evening arrives gently. Inside the longhouse, the fire is fed once more. Its glow becomes warmer, brighter. Shadows flicker along the walls, moving softly with the flame. Families gather again. Some sit close together, others rest quietly. A final meal may be shared, or perhaps simply the presence of one another. There is no need for constant activity, no need to fill every moment. And then, as night settles in, something else begins. Stories. They are not written, they are remembered, passed from one voice to another, spoken slowly in calm and steady tones. Stories of distant lands, of long journeys across the sea, of places not yet seen, but imagined. Stories of gods, of heroes, of quiet mysteries that shape the world. Children listen closely. Their eyes grow heavy. The fire crackles softly. Outside, the wind moves gently across the land. The sky darkens, deepening into a quiet blue. Stars appear, one by one, clear, steady, unchanging. Inside, the longhouse grows still. The voices fade. Breathing becomes slower, softer, and soon sleep settles over the space. Outside, the village rests. No movement, no sound, except for the faint whisper of the wind, and perhaps in the distance, the quiet presence of the sea, always there, always waiting. This is the rhythm of Viking life, not loud, not hurried, but steady, grounded, deeply connected to the world around it. A life shaped not by urgency, but by balance, by patience, by an understanding that everything has its time. And yet, beyond this quiet village, something else exists. Yeah, something vast, something open. The sea. It waits, just beyond the land. Calm on some days, restless on others, always present, always calling, in its own quiet way. But for now, we remain here, in the warmth of the longhouse, in the softness of the evening, in the gentle stillness of a world long ago. Let the fire glow softly, let the night settle in, and allow this quiet rhythm to stay with you just a little longer. Now, let us move gently onward, leaving behind the quiet warmth of the village. We walk slowly toward the edge of the land. The air begins to change. It feels slightly cooler here, touched by the breath of the open water. The ground beneath your feet softens, shifting from grass to sand to scattered stones. And ahead, the sea stretches out, wide, calm, and endless. And there is a light mist resting over the surface, drifting slowly, almost weightless. It blurs the horizon so that the boundary between sea and sky becomes difficult to see. Everything feels softer here, quieter, as though the world itself is pausing, taking a slow and steady breath. And along this quiet shoreline, resting patiently where land meets water, are the ships of the Vikings. Long, narrow, and gently curved. They do not feel heavy or rigid. Instead, they seem almost alive, as if they are simply waiting for the moment they will return to motion. These are long ships, carefully built, not for display but for movement, for balance, for harmony with the sea. If you walk beside one, slowly, you may notice the way the wood is arranged. Each plank overlaps the next, layered carefully, one above another. This method, known as clinker construction, creates a surface that is both strong and flexible. So when the waves begin to rise and fall, the ship does not resist. It moves with them, gently, naturally. The wood itself carries the memory of the forest. Tall trees were selected with care, cut, shaped, and carved by hand. Each piece fitted slowly into place. No force, no haste, only patience. Iron nails hold the structure together, but it is the design itself that gives the ship its quiet strength. At either end, The ship curves upward, a smooth, rising line, elegant yet purposeful. Sometimes at the front, a carved figure rests, a dragon, a serpent, or another creature drawn from story and belief. It is not only decoration, it is presence, a quiet symbol watching over the journey ahead. And now, as the first light of morning begins to grow, the shoreline awakens softly. A small group gathers near one of the ships. They do not rush. There is no need for loud voices. Each person knows what must be done. Ropes are checked, pulled gently through steady hands. Sails are unfolded, their woven fabric catching the early light. Supplies are carried aboard, barrels of fresh water, bundles of dried fish. Simple tools, warm clothing, carefully folded, each item placed with intention, nothing scattered, nothing forgotten. There is a feeling of preparation, but also of calm, because this journey is not something to be hurried. When everything is ready, the ship is guided toward the water. It does not crash into the waves. It slides forward, slowly, wood meeting water with a soft and quiet sound. As a beginning, so gentle it is almost unnoticed. The ship begins to float, just slightly at first, then fully, resting upon the surface of the sea. Oars are lowered. They dip into the water and pull back, smoothly, again and again. A steady rhythm forms, not fast, not forced, just enough to guide the vessel forward. The shoreline begins to drift away. The village, the longhouses, the trees, they grow smaller, softer, until they blend into the distant land. And now there is only the sea. It stretches outward in every direction, wide, open, unbroken. The surface moves gently, small waves rising, then falling, like a slow, steady breath. Above, the sky is vast. Clouds drift quietly, their shapes changing without urgency. The ship moves forward, not cutting through the water, but gliding. She carried rather than driven. This is how the Vikings travel. They do not fight the sea. They listen to it. They watch its movement. They feel its rhythm, and they follow it. When the wind begins to rise, the sail is lifted, a large square of woven cloth that's stretching upward, catching the air. The ship responds immediately. It leans slightly, then moves forward with ease, pulled gently by the invisible force of the wind. When the wind fades, the oars return. Dip, pull, dip, pull. The same quiet rhythm, shared by all. Life aboard the ship is simple. There are no rooms, no walls, no separation, only the open deck, the sky above, the sea below. Crew members sit along the sides, resting between their turns at the oars. Some gaze toward the horizon, their eyes soft, unfocused. Yet others adjust ropes, checking the sail, making small, careful movements. There are moments of conversation, short, quiet, but often there is silence, a comfortable silence, the kind that does not need to be filled, because everyone shares the same space, the same purpose, the same journey. Time feels different here. It does not move in clear divisions. There are no tasks tied to specific hours, only the rising and setting of the sun. During the day, light stretches across the water, reflected in soft patterns, shifting gently with each movement of the sea. The air remains cool, but steady, nothing sharp, nothing overwhelming, just a constant, quiet presence. And as evening approaches, the light begins to fade. Slowly, almost without notice, the sky softens into pale gold, then into gentle shades of gray. The sea reflects these colors, creating a smooth, endless surface. At night, everything changes again. The sky darkens, deepening into a quiet, endless blue. And then the stars appear, one by one, clear, bright, far more visible here, away from the land. They fill the sky completely, a silent map stretching across the darkness. The ship continues to move, rocking gently with the water, and above the stars become more than just light. They become a guide. The Vikings do not rely on maps as we know them. Instead, they observe. They watch the position of the sun during the day. They follow the patterns of stars at night. They notice the direction of the wind, the movement of the waves. Even the flight of birds can offer quiet hints of land nearby. Sometimes they carry simple tools, a sun compass helping them understand direction, or special crystals that reveal the position of the sun even when hidden behind clouds. But more than anything, they rely on experience, a deep familiarity with the natural world, an awareness built slowly over time. As the ship moves through the night, a deep sense of calm settles in. The water reflects the stars, creating the illusion of two skies, one above, one below. The boundary between them becomes soft, almost invisible. The ship seems suspended between light and darkness, between sky and sea. The crew rests in turns. Some lie down along the deck and wrapped in cloaks. Their bodies rise and fall gently with the motion of the ship. Others remain awake, watching, listening, keeping the vessel steady. The sound of water against the hull is constant, soft, rhythmic, almost like a lullaby. Sometimes the sea becomes completely still, so smooth that the ship seems to float without movement. Other times, small waves rise beneath it, lifting, then lowering the vessel. But always, the motion remains gentle, never rushed, never harsh. The Vikings understand something deeply important. The sea cannot be controlled, it can only be respected. And so, they move with it, not against it. Days pass, slowly. The horizon remains open, unchanging, yet always new. There is a peaceful repetition to life here. Wake, row, rest, watch, sleep, a quiet cycle, repeating again and again. And within this rhythm, the mind begins to settle. Thoughts slow down. The constant movement, the steady sounds, the endless sky, all of it creates a feeling of stillness, even while in motion. And then, after time has passed, something begins to change. At first, it is subtle, almost unnoticeable. The air feels slightly different, carrying a hint of something new. Birds appear overhead. They circle briefly, then move in a clear direction. The water shifts in color, its deep tones becoming lighter, softer. The movement of the waves changes, growing more gentle, more contained. These are small signs, but they are meaningful. Land is near. No one rushes forward. No one calls out loudly. There's only a quiet awareness shared among the crew. The journey is shifting. The wide openness of the sea is beginning to give way to something more defined. But for now, we remain here, in this space between, not fully at sea and not yet on land. Because this moment, this quiet passage, is where the journey truly lives. Not at the beginning, not at the end, but in the gentle movement between the two. The ship continues forward, steady, unhurried, carried by wind, guided by stars, supported by the calm presence of those aboard. And as you follow this motion, you may begin to feel it as well. The slow rhythm, the soft repetition, the quiet drifting across open water. Let the movement of the sea carry your thoughts. Let them rise and fall like the waves beneath the ship. There is nowhere to rush, nothing to reach, only the journey itself and the calm that comes with it. Now, as the ship continues its gentle path across the open sea, something begins to change. At first, it is almost impossible to notice. Yea, the horizon, once wide and empty, seems to hold a faint suggestion of form, a thin line, soft, distant, barely there, but steady. The crew does not react with urgency. There are no sudden movements, only a quiet awareness, shared silently among them. Land is near. The ship continues forward, just as it always has. Oars dip into the water, then rise again. Smooth, measured, unhurried. The sail shifts slightly, catching the wind with gentle precision. Nothing is forced. Nothing is rushed. As the distance slowly closes, the shape becomes clearer. Low hills emerge from the horizon, dark clusters of trees, a shoreline that curves softly, welcoming the sea inward. The water beneath the ship begins to change. Its deep tones lighten. The movement softens. Waves grow smaller, more gentle as they approach the land. The sound shifts as well. No longer the open rhythm of the sea, but a quieter lapping as water meets the shore. And then the ship begins to slow, not suddenly, gradually, as if it understands that the journey is pausing. The oars rest, the sail loosens, the vessel glides forward, carried only by the final movement of the water, until softly it touches land. There is no crash, no sharp sound, only a gentle contact, a quiet arrival. For a moment, everything is still. The crew does not rush to leave the ship. They pause, feeling the shift beneath them, from movement to stillness. Then, one by one, they step onto the shore. The ground feels different, firm, stable, yet unfamiliar. A new place, a new rhythm. The air carries scents that are not yet known. The trees stand in unfamiliar patterns. The silence feels slightly changed. Not louder, not quieter, just different. They move slowly, not as conquerors, not as intruders, but as observers, travelers. They take in the shape of the land, the way the ground rises and falls, the direction of nearby water, the movement of light across the hills. Everything is noticed, but nothing is rushed. Some walk a little further inland, others remain near the shore. Hands brush lightly against tree bark, feet press gently into the soil. There is a quiet respect in every movement. Sometimes this is where they stay. Simple shelters are built, wood gathered, fires lit. Life begins to settle once more into a steady rhythm. The same rhythm they carried from their village, from their homes, from the longhouses, and the quiet warmth of shared space. Other times, they remain only briefly, a short pause, a moment of rest, before returning once again to the ship. Because for the Vikings, the journey itself holds meaning. Not only the places they reach, but the space between them, the movement across water, the quiet passage through open sky. This is where their world unfolds. And within that world, there is something deeper, something not seen, but quietly understood. A way of viewing life that extends beyond land and sea. The Vikings believed that existence was layered, not separated, but connected, above, below, and all around. At the center of this understanding stood something vast, ancient, enduring, a great tree, Yggdrasil. If you imagine it now, it is beyond measure. Its roots stretch deep into places unseen, into worlds that exist beneath the surface. Its trunk rises strong, steady, unshaken, and its branches reach upward, spreading wide across the sky, touching realms beyond sight. It is not just a tree, it is a connection, a structure that holds everything together. The world of humans, the world of gods, and the quiet spaces in between, yet it does not move. It does not demand attention. It simply exists, silent, present, endless, to the Vikings. This was not a distant idea, not a story removed from daily life. It was a quiet truth, a way of understanding that everything is part of something larger, that each life, like each branch, belongs to a greater whole. Among the many beings connected to this great tree were the gods, not distant figures beyond reach. But familiar presences, woven into the fabric of the world. Odin, a figure of wisdom, often imagined not on a throne, but on a journey, moving between places, between worlds, seeking knowledge while in quiet and hidden spaces. He is not loud, not overwhelming, but thoughtful, patient, a seeker of deeper understanding. Then there is Thor, a presence of strength, of thunder, of protection. Yet even Thor is not only power, he is steady, reliable, a force that brings balance. Rather than chaos, his strength is not reckless. It is grounded, purposeful. There are others as well, figures of light, of shadow, of nature, of spirit, each one connected, each one part of the same whole, a world that feels alive but not chaotic, calm yet full of quiet meaning. These beliefs do not bring fear. They do not create unrest. Instead, they offer comfort, a sense that life, even in its uncertainty, has structure, has connection, has place. And so, whether in the village, or on the sea, or standing upon a distant shore, the Vikings carry this understanding with them, not as something spoken loudly, but as something felt, a quiet awareness that they are part of something larger. As time passes, the light begins to change once more. The sky softens. Blue fades into pale gold, then into gentle shades of gray and violet. Evening returns. The ship once again arrests upon the water, perhaps near this new land, or perhaps already moving away. The exact place no longer matters, only the feeling, the calm, the steady rhythm. The sail hangs softly in the cooling air. The water reflects the fading light, smooth, endless, unbroken. The crew moves less now. Their work is complete. Some sit quietly, others lie back, their eyes turned toward the sky, watching as the first stars appear, one by one, faint at first, then brighter, filling the sky. The sea darkened, but it does not grow harsh. It remains calm. The ship drifts gently, no longer driven by effort, but carried by the natural movement of the world. There is no need to speak, no need to act, only to exist. Within this quiet moment, the boundary between sky and water begins to fade. The horizon disappears. There is only darkness, soft, peaceful, and within it light, above and reflected below. The ship moves slowly, almost without motion, as if time itself has softened, as if the journey has become something else, not a path from one place to another, but a gentle drifting through stillness, through presence, through quiet awareness. And here we leave the Vikings, not in battle, not in noise, but in calm, on a quiet sea, beneath a sky filled with stars. Their story does not end. It continues, like the movement of water, like the passing of wind, like the slow turning of the seasons, always present, always flowing. And as their ship drifts softly into the night, you may allow your own thoughts to drift as well, slowing, softening, becoming quieter. With each passing moment, the sea is calm, the sky is wide, and the journey continues gently into rest.